Well, hello everyone. Justice Curry with you in studio. Yes, it is a live video. I know people go, "Oh, don't do live videos." I don't have all the bells and whistles of the little music in the background that I keep using the same tracks all the time. I like doing live videos. I have some crazy special announcements to talk about. And where are they? I have some packages. What ends up happening a lot of times, and if you're a collector and you're buying all the time, you end up accumulating packages, and sometimes you don't have the time to open them. And then I have a bunch of packages that I'm like, I got to open these. I need some me time because I'm always running around with my real life working and family and organizing and cleaning and doing A, B, and C. I need to enjoy some me time and open up presents. Presents. Yeah, I like that term, presents. As the title suggests, there is a new show coming out called Action Figure Adventure. I don't know which streaming service is going to pick it up yet, but I'm sure it'll be one of the major ones. My buddy Rob is putting it together. He's also the same one that did Nintendo Quest, and he filmed Jay, I think is Bartlett, going around and getting a complete NES collection. But this go around, Jay has gone around to many collectors and vintage toy places, and people have been donating like some awesome toys, which I'll tell you some of them in a moment. And what they're doing is they're going to hold a live auction event on August 13th of 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're watching this, years down the line, who cares? There'll still be a link down below in the description for what streaming service it'll be on, so you can check out Action Figure Adventure because it's going to be really cool. But anyway, the auction that's taking place, all the proceeds go to benefit the Children's Health Foundation. So it's freaking awesome. It's amazing. I'll go over some of the toys that were donated that are going to be featured on this auction. And yours truly gets to be a part of it. Motu Joe, you know him, Motu Masters of the Universe. What's up, Tech and Eric and all my buddies watching the live feed right now? Motu Joe is a huge He-Man collector, one of my buddies that lives not too far away. He and I are going to be providing commentary for the live auction event. Again, in the description, after you're done watching this, or even right now, pause, go down the description, click on the link. It'll take you to Facebook for the Action Figure Adventure. Just hit like, because then you'll get notifications of new updates and when this is available. It's really special. It's really cool. Super excited about it. But Jay has his own YouTube channel, and they've been announcing the 10 items that are going to be on the auction. So I'll name some that have already been announced. You have She-Ra MOC. What does MOC stand for? Mint on card. So a mint on card vintage She-Ra. Yes, She-Ra is going to be auctioned off. Megatron boxed G1, Generation 1, V1, version 1, whatever you want to call it. Megatron, epic bad guy. That's going to be one of the things. I cannot wait to be. Oh my gosh. So probably what Motu Joe and I are going to be doing will be filmed talking about the toys as the countdown goes down, because I believe they're going to be on eBay. And you know what happens every time if you've ever bought something on eBay, people do sniping, or they wait to the last minute and they put their bids in at the last second to try to be the high bidder and win. So we'll be talking about the toys and watching them and seeing where the bids progress. And if you want to be part of this too, definitely, again, click on the link for Action Figure Adventure, and there'll be a link to the eBay auction. I'm filming right now. It's July 29th, and again, I said August 13th, so it's 2 weeks from now. And I imagine they'll do a 7 or 10 day auction, so it's not live yet. But once it is, you can have a chance to bid on some of these items that are going to be featured in a major television show about collectors and collecting. And then all the proceeds, so all the money that you put in to these toys that you want, goes to a great cause to benefit Children's Health Foundation. And yes, I'm wearing, why did I pick this shirt? I should have thought more. This is my buddy Clint Hot Dogs. owns High Score Saloon. He did an American Psycho type-esque shirt, High Score Saloon. I did a YouTube video, a review of it. It's a barcade, even though they're not allowed to use the word barcades. Evansville, Indiana. It's worth, if you're hours and hours away, it's worth going to. It is a freaking amazing time. Vintage arcade machines, pinball machines, what have you. Sorry if I'm not seeing all the comments. Handle, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? Action figure expert, Eric. All right. More of the items that are going to be featured in this show. Optimus Prime. I mentioned Megatron. So you got the major bad dude that morphs Power Rangers, transforms into a gun, and then you got Megatron. Optimus Prime. Good versus evil. So Optimus is also going to be featured. And it's not just a regular reissue Optimus that you're seeing in Walmart or whatnot. It's the G1. It's also a boxed version 1, excellent condition Optimus. So if you've always been like, you know what? I want to get an Optimus. I've always wanted one in my collection. This is the time to do it. Ecto 1. Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? Vintage Ghostbusters. And not only boxed, but sealed Ghostbuster Ecto 1. One of the things that I probably will be bidding. I'll be providing commentary like a sportscaster. All right, folks, we have up here, we have 2-minute countdown, Ecto 1. I got to go to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be freaking bidding on it myself. And I asked Rob, I go, is it a conflict of interest that I'm involved with the show, but bidding on it? He's like, who cares? All the money is going toward a good cause. So I'm so mad that I sold my vintage Ecto 1 a while ago to my buddy, and I need to get another one. Even though I only had Ecto 2A, which was like the Ghostbuster 2 version, that had like the pink slime on it. There's like decals or whatever. What else we got going on? Another item that's going to be in the auction will be Yak Face. So Yak Face, I have one. Where is my yak? Yakety yak, don't come back. If you are a vintage Star Wars collector, you know about Yak Face. He's an obscure character. Not a lot of kids were like, I want Yak Face, because he was like in the background of the Jabba's sail barge. And, you know, they were trying to milk every character that they could. So they made Yak Face, but it wasn't available in the States. It was available, I think, just in Canada and over in Europe. So smaller production run, because you didn't have the U.S. Consumers. And smaller production runs, meaning rarer, not a lot of them out there. And then you get people, you know, 40 years later that are collecting and are completist that want to have every single one, and they go, well, I got all the Lukes and the Yodas and the Chewbacca's, I gotta have this weird guy too. And they're like, crap, now it's a few $100. Yak Face will be loose. I'm not sure if he's got the coin and whatnot. Another one announced, so we're halfway down the list of 10 items that are going to be featured in this auction, is Skeletor. Oh yeah, let me show you my Skeletor. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So Skeletor, He-Man, you boob. That's my Skeletor. I don't know how my voice, well, I know how my voice sounds because I listen back to these YouTube videos when I'm editing them and whatnot. When you were a kid, you remember listening to your voice for the first time when on a tape deck or cassette tape, and you're like, I sound like, oh my gosh, I sound like that. I was always insecure about my voice. As I've grown older, one of the most freeing things is not caring what other people think about me. I don't care that people, oh, you're a toy collector, you're weird, or quote unquote normal people. Because what I say is, there is no such thing as normal. We're all crazy. We all got our things about us, but some are better than hiding it than others. And when I don't hide it and I'm like, if you don't like me, I don't care. Now I don't go out of my way to offend people, but why am I getting off track? I don't know. That's just how I roll. But anyway, Skeletor. That's what I was talking about, my voice. So I'm going to play back my Skeletor.
He-Man, what are you, Beast Man? You idiot!
So mint on card, Skeletor, not this one. And this is your chance to get one. I'm telling you, prices have been rising consistently on Motu Masters Universe, and they're going to continue to rise, especially once the Netflix series that Kevin Smith, Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, and you know who Kevin Smith is. He's doing that Netflix cartoon, and it's got some major voice actors, and that's gonna pump in more collectors to go, oh, I remember He-Man back in the day, and it's gonna drive up prices. So this is the time. If you're like, man, I'm gonna wait. Don't wait. Get your mint on card Skeletor August 13th at the eBay auction, because it's going to be a heck of a fun time. Let's see. None live chats. Let's see. What's up? Diary of a Flipper. I like that. Another handle. What's up? How you doing? I love Kevin. Yes, Kevin is a cool dude. When I was on the Comic Book Men showing my never ending story figures, and then they cut away to the podcast where Kevin's talking to the other people that were working Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, the actual comic book store, toy store in Red Bank, New Jersey. And he mentioned, like, they made never ending story figures. After watching a clip of me, I'm like shaking, because I don't get starstruck very often. Like, if I'm not the kind of guy that wants to get people's autographs and all that stuff, but that's someone who I would get starstruck for about. And I think he actually provided some commentary for this action figure adventure. Rob filmed them at PowerCon last year, which is the He-Man equivalent to a Comic-Con on the West Coast. And he kind of talked about nostalgia and toys and whatnot. So there's a clip if you watch the trailer. And I think I'll put a link down below as well in the description to the trailer of this whole thing, action figure adventure, because it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be huge, I tell you. So without further ado, I told you I'd be opening up a package. This one's been kind of on my shelf or on the pile for a good month now. My friend, this is actually a fun story, and I'm going to butcher it. So, a year ago, a little over a year ago, I was on a quest to get the, I think they're called Color Forms or Shrinky Dinks Castle Grayskull. It's a vintage Castle Grayskull with, do I have one over here? Figures somewhere around here. And you remember Shrinky Dinks, where it would be like a flat piece of plastic, pretend it's this big, and it's a cutout of Skeletor, and then you can color it in or whatnot, and you bake it in the oven, and it shrinks down, and then it's more detailed and whatnot. Well, they made a kind of cardboard cutout Castle Grayskull, as well as the figures for it. And I wanted it, and there was none on eBay, so I put a post on Facebook. So if you're ever looking for a certain toy, and you don't want to go on eBay and you rather go through Facebook, because Facebook's the jam. I'm telling you, it feels like you're buying from a robot on eBay. I don't like it. I like the experience on Facebook. You can talk, get more pictures. What's up, Mr. Germany and Denmark? I love that I get to talk to people all over the world. Well, anyway, I put a post. Hey, I'm looking for this. Anybody have one? I'm ready to buy it. And I was at work when I posted it. So someone in the comments said, hey, I got one for sale. And I'm like, awesome, cool. Well, I didn't get to that comment right away because I'm at work. I'm a police officer and I was handling calls. So once I get to him and I commented and said, okay, I want it. He goes, actually someone else messaged me and we made a deal for it. And I'm like, what? Someone poached my asking my request post? They poached me. And I go, well, who is it? And the dude is like, oh, I don't want to get involved. I don't want that guy to get mad at me. He already paid me for it and blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, all right, how about this? If you tell me who he is, I won't confront him. I won't cause any unnecessary drama. I just want to know who this jackwagon is. and he tells me the guy's name. And he's like a freaking prominent collector in the toy community. This guy's always messaging me going, what's this worth? What's that worth? And a lot of times when people ask me about common items like, here, this gizmo, what's this worth? And I'm like, look it up on eBay. There's 20 other examples of sold listings. And I'll say it more politely because I rather teach people how to fish than constantly feed them fish. And I get 30 messages a day from people in the toy community, you know, either just greetings, how you doing, or I like this video, or I have this for sale, or this. But a lot of those messages are also asking for prices. Like they'll take a big picture of a collection and go, how much is this worth? And I'm like, I take a notepad. I have to write down every single thing when I buy collections. I can't go spend hours to do your work. So I politely say, just check sold listings on eBay. They're common items. But if they're rare items that are no examples on eBay, I'll point them in the right direction or give them my gut feeling of what I think it might be worth. And this was kind of the guy. He was a high-end collector, and he was asking me. I gave him my opinions. We had talked for years, and he poached my post, took my Castle Grayskull from me, and I'm like, you. Grr. So anyway, side tangent story. I blocked that guy that poached from me, and then I still never ended up with the castle. I could bought it on eBay. I'm sure it came up several times, but I'm not that kind of guy. I like to find it on Facebook. I like to buy it for my friends. I especially like hunting in the wild, because eBay is like going to a nature preserve where there's there's 20 caged animals and you're hunting them. I rather go out into the world, the forest, and find the hunt. That's a weird analogy, but that's how my brain works. And I'm weird, and we all collect differently. You do it differently than I do. What's your favorite kind of fish? My favorite kind of fish? I don't know. I love eating all sorts of fish. But that was a comment. What's my favorite? Sorry, merman. Merman's my favorite type of fish. My buddy Carl Miller, who's a Michigander, just happened to message me on the 1-year anniversary. And the only reason I know this is because, you know, how Facebook sends you a message like 1 year ago, you made a post about such and such. And it was that request for the Castle Grayskull. And Carl messaged me and said, hey, I remember you looking for that Grayskull last year. You know, I've had it for a year. I don't really want it anymore. Would you like it? I'm like, yes, what are the odds? Oh my gosh, I do want that. And he sent it to me. So I just told you a 20-minute story, but it's fun. It's part of the adventure. You got to take the good with the bad. There are tons of poisonous, negative people anywhere you go, any hobby, your family, you got crazy stuff. I try to not get involved with negativity and the chaos. Like, this is my vacation from the real world. And if you're watching this right now in 2020, you know that it's been a poop show this year with all sorts of chaos in the world, especially COVID and unrest and racial tensions and government this and that and Trump and just a lot of stress. And I'm in the middle of it day in and day out. So this is my vacation from the real world. And if I'm on vacation and I got some drunk idiot being crazy, I distance myself from them. Same with the Facebook world. I probably have the highest block rate of anybody else because a lot of crazy people are attached to, you know, picking at me, saying negative things about me. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. Block. See ya. I like catfish. So you don't collect masks? Oh, yes, I do collect masks. Absolutely. Here. Gosh, you guys are going to get me on 10-minute, 20,000 tangents. Oops, turn this around. That's all right. I got a little bit of time. So these are some of my masks. And then I got the other almost complete set in the other room that I'm probably going to sell because one of my things that I've always said was if I can't display it, I don't need it. And then they did a Matt Tracker G.I. Joe crossover, which is, there's the card art. And I think I have mint on card one right there on my ceiling. So there's Mask. And many of those were ones I played with as a kid. My friend saved his saved his toys, and I bought it when I got back into the hobby. All right. 20 minutes have gone by, and now I'm getting to this. Remember, action figure adventure. Click on that link, or else you better click on that link down in my description, and subscribe while you're at it, and share, and like, or dislike. If you don't like it, I don't care. Oh no. Oh yes. All right. This is going to be a little problematic because it's a live video and I can't just edit or do a time lapse. So these are the pieces of Castle Grayskull. What you can do, and I highly encourage it, if you're on Facebook, click on or just type in Justice Curry and then click the follow button. I can't accept everyone's friend request because I'm gonna hit the max pretty soon. But if you click the follow button, I have an open public profile, so you can see like all my posts, and I'm constantly posting like awesome videos, hauls. You might get sneak peek of stuff I sell constantly to finance all this insanity. But I'll do a post in the near future of what this Castle Grayskull looks like. So definitely get on Facebook for multiple reasons. So because I'm going to set this thing up, it looks like it fits together with. Oh wow, that's beautiful. That is truly amazing right there. Wow, so cool. So it has a bunch of pieces. I don't care that it's not complete. I don't know if, yeah, there's no the mini figures or whatever in it. But I love Castle Grayskull. Castle Grayskull and Battle Cat are kinds of the I don't collect merchandise. What am I doing? I can't collect merchandise like Motu Joe, where he has like keychains and shampoo and all sorts of things that are associated with the line. But if it's Battle Cat or Castle Grayskull, sorry, I'm multitasking trying to tighten up this, related or it looks like it, then I pick it up. The origin lines, hey, that's freaking exciting. The origin lines are being released right now. A Battle Cat, Motu Joe just picked me up a Battle Cat yesterday, and it looks like the vintage figures, but with articulating like elbows and knees and whatnot, instead of the static figures that we grew up with. Some of the cool things that I got recently. So I love translucents, obviously, with my translucent chandelier with all the clear figures. I've picked up some new ones in the recent. My buddy Victor over in Greenland made some of these Orins. I'm a huge Neverending Story fan. So yes. What other comments we got going on here? And plus, if you're watching this and it's not live, I do look at almost every single comment when I'm bored or whatnot, or I had some extra time. I can't reply to every single comment, but I try to look at them, like them, and a lot of times I will comment on them. Love the line, WWE Motu. Yep, those are out right now. I haven't picked up any, but I want to. What do you like better, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A? I like them both, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. What else did I bring in here to open for you guys? Yes. Pre-production. Now, I should do another video later and open this one up. Should I open it now? Gosh, this is a good box. Yeah, I'll open it. What the heck? Am I gonna save everything? Pre-production, prototypes, things that are involved in making the lines, because they don't just automatically wake up one day and go, all right, we're gonna put this figure in production. There has to be a process from a drawing, multiple drawings, tweaking the drawings, making molds of the figures, making reverse negative molds, shrinking them, paint applications, a whole bunch of processes and steps involved before they start mass producing things by the thousands or millions. But having certain pieces as a progression of a collector, you get things you want, you get things you always wanted, you get things that you never knew you wanted, you get art. I mean, there's all sorts of tangents you have, but some collectors go down the collecting rabbit hole of pre-production prototypes, which can be crazy expensive depending on the lines and the desirability. But it's a special connection to the piece because it feels like you're holding on to a piece of history, something that belongs in a museum, because there's only a couple of them or one of them. So I purchased some from my buddy recently that are prototypes. We're involved in the pre-production process. There are not, I've only heard about one, and it was the Basharsaurus pre-production vintage He-Man. I do have a vintage Havoc Staff Skeletor's pre-production, is molded in a different color, light blue. It's upstairs, or I would show you. So crazy rare to find anything related to the original He-Man Master of the Universe line that's pre-production prototype, because they just threw them away. Employees never thought they would be valuable or desirable later on. But as the series progressed, you know, these 2000X that came out later on, they were more prevalent, kept. You know, employees were like, yeah, we better probably keep these and pass them on to collectors. I don't have the production one. I'm going to get it, but this is He-Man. Beggars can't be choosers. You know, would I rather have like the regular version of He-Man for the 2000X prototype? That would be the regular version. Yeah, sure. But, you know, they made multiple variants and whatnot. Not variants. Ice and Thunder and this and that just to sell more toys. But there's a Barbarian one. It doesn't have the paint apps on it, whatnot. One of my favorite figures growing up was Too Bad. And Too Bad, as you remember, had the two different heads, and he was fighting. He was a goofy character, but again, the 2000X, not painted, so probably along the stages before it was mass produced, they needed a mold. It's going to be a lot better. And again, that's another reason to follow me on Facebook, is because in the near future, when I buy the production one of these, I can do a side-by-side comparison and go, look at this one doesn't have paint on it, or they changed, you know, the molding on here. They made a running production change. So those are cool. That'll go on my pre-production shelf upstairs. I could just talk forever. Maybe I will talk forever. How much time you guys got? You got enough time? All right, let's just keep talking then. I got Star Wars. I do collect Star Wars. Talk and listen. Be a Patreon. Yes. What's up, brother? Brother from another mother. Let's see. Some of these other pre-production things. I was making some impulse buys. I probably shouldn't have bought these. If you want some of them, you know what? No, I don't want to say message me, because then I'll get messages 10 years from now like, hey, I watched that YouTube video. You still have this? I'm like, no, I got rid of it. If you watch this in the next month, message me if you are interested in buying any of these. So a lot of these are Marvel Legend heads and Star Wars heads, but also involved in the pre-production process. You know, they would mold them in solid colors or put little markings on them just to see how they're going to look, any imperfections in them. But I don't know, I was just gonna line them up, find a display, or I'm not gonna charge a lot. If you message me on Facebook and say, hey, you have such and such character, I love that character, I'd love to have a prototype piece of it, message me, we'll make a deal. I don't need all of these. Some of the female heads, Jubilee's head down there, looks like Hawkeye's Captain, or there's Hawkeye. I doubt those numbers were in the production ones. I'm not a huge Marvel Legend collector, so I don't know, but that might be just, it might have stamped those numbers on all of the different body parts for them. Some Spider-Man heads and more Spider-Man heads. They would mold them in different colors or whatever plastics they had around. And then obviously Han Solo and some Star Wars figured I'm definitely keeping that one. And then Venom's one of my favorite characters. What's up, Marcelo's Toy Room? Oh, sorry, my wife's messaging me. How's quality on this? I always get murdered with the thumbs down and the comments anytime I do a live video on YouTube because I'm using my phone. You know, I don't have all the big money that the big YouTubers use to have the nice setup for better quality film. I guess I did buy a better camera because you remember if you've ever watched my earlier YouTube videos, because I've been doing this like 2.5, 3 years now. I used to have that GoPro camera and I would hold it around like this, Justice Curry, and walk around toy, and it had the fisheye lens, but it was horrible audio and the video. Yeah, it was neat because of the fisheye lens, but I ended up talking to Pixel Dan. He and Val Staples is the guy that's on PowerCon and, you know, was involved in a bunch of the He-Man comics and a ton of other things. But Pixel Dan and him came over a couple years ago, maybe it's just a year and a half ago, and took photographs of a lot of my mint on card figures and loose figures and whatnot for an upcoming book that's produced, I think, by Dark Horse, and it should be ready at the end of the year. I took a ton of video from that interaction and that process because we had like the attorney up here, but it was a huge secret for a while because they were trying to get rights and do all this other stuff, or didn't want other people doing it. But it was announced recently, and once that book becomes available, I'm going to start releasing a lot of that video that we did together and promoting their book just to help them out. But circling back around, Action Figure Adventure. Click on that link in the description. Like it on Facebook so you can get notifications. And please, please, please join me and the other guys on August 13th, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go on your calendar, make a little note, and then you can bid on these amazing items. There's 5 other ones. They haven't been announced yet because Jay every few days has been doing a video releasing information about the next item, and it gets better and better. Like I mentioned, She-Ra and Optimus Prime and Megatron and Skeletor, but there's even better. There's really good ones. Brad just said he got a big haul from you. Yep, Marcelo's Toy Room. Quality's very good. Oh, nice. Yeah, my buddy Brad came over yesterday. He sets up at a lot of the flea markets and whatnot, and I picked up a crazy giant lot of Toy Biz Marvel figures, all mint on card, and you know, I sold them for dirt cheap to him because I didn't want to nickel and dime and make $8 here, $10 here. I rather give them to him and he can double his money because it was a lot of stuff. And then I stick with my bread and butter, stuff that I'm more passionate about when I'm selling, which is He-Man and G.I. Joe, which I've talked about many times. Like, I buy toys. If you ever get to a point in your life where you're like, I don't want to deal, and that's what happens to collectors. They have a giant collection and then they have an emergency or lose passion or divorce or whatnot, and they're like, I need to sell all this. And they don't have a year to nickel and dime and maximize their money. So they'll contact someone like me and say, hey, I'm interested in buying it, and I'm up front, or selling it, and I'm up front, and I say, yep, I'll buy it, but I got to be 50% of eBay bidding value, which is higher than you go to a friggin' pawn shop or other flippers, and they ain't going to give you 50%. So what I say, I got time invested in this, and that's the enemy, time. But I like doing it because, like I've said in 8 million of my videos, I finance my collection with selling. Like, I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning on my day off and spent the first 5 hours packaging loose G.I. Joes from a Facebook auction that I did, and it ended last night. I got to get all the invoices out, but that's all right. I'll make a few $100, and then I'll have that few $100. So when an opportunity shows up and someone's like, hey, I got this rare Fun School G.I. Joe figure, or I got XYZ that you might be interested in, I'm like, well, I just sold some stuff, and yep, I'll buy it. So I always want that little bank of money to be able to make those impulse buys, like I did with These ridiculous pre-production Marvel Legend and Star Wars heads. They're not ridiculous. They're neat. Fun story. Wish I still lived in the States. Here in Costa Rica, toys in general. Yeah, I remember a few years ago I went to Costa Rica for a vacation. Even though a vacation for me would be toy hunting, I'd rather do that than go to some tropical location. But when I was there, I'm like, maybe I can find some like hidden cove or hidden toy store, and there ain't none of that stuff in different countries. Like America was a truly blessed and rich country, and toys were made by the millions and kept and whatnot. But you talk about other poorer nations, not to say Costa Rica is a poor nation, but a lot of other nations they weren't marketed, or people didn't have that extra money to make toy or give toys to children, or they just weren't saved or thought about. They're just disposable. Yes, I want to keep talking, but I need to get going. So, Action Figure Adventure, get on Facebook, be there for the live event. There'll probably be some commenting. I'll see you there. I'll definitely see you there because it's going to be a blast. Love you all. Be kind to one another, especially in this time. Don't get into arguments. Don't be a Facebook bully. Love you. Bye. Okay, maybe I'll just stay on because I don't know how to turn this off.